Oh, yeah, you guys know I'm already fired up for Sunday night football. The Dolphins are playing the Eagles on the field, but we've got equally as big of a battle going on here at Chat Sports, and we need to win the sub battle. Our Eagles host, Chase Sr. Love the guy, but his head's getting way too big because look at, let me move over a little bit. The Eagles are beating us 72-45 in new subs. We got to change that. I believe we can do it. So if you're a Dolphins fan, you got to subscribe to Dolphins Today so we can get that sub count out and be ready to go for Sunday night football against the Eagles. We're going to beat them on the field and we're going to beat them in the sub count. That's what I'm talking about. If you love the Dolphins, subscribe to the channel so we can beat the Eagles. Hey, today's show is presented by Manscaped. Super pumped to have them on board. You should be too. And what's better, a 20% off promo code Dolphins at manscaped.com. We're going to tell you all about a new product they've got coming for you. But manscaped.com, using code Dolphins for 20% off. Let's get it going on Dolphins Today. Shout out to Sherry May for her super chats. Oh, we love the support of Dolphins Today, and we appreciate you supporting the show. So, Fins must not start slow. It won't be easy to climb out of that hole against Philadelphia. That's exactly right. The Dolphins spotted the Panthers 14 points. You can't spot a team like the Eagles 14 points. There is no doubt about it. So, I'm confident that the Dolphins won't do that and that they'll come out ready to play in a hostile environment on the road at Lincoln Financial Field against the Philadelphia Eagles, and I can't wait for that. First question from our one and only Randy. That's our guy. What's up, Randy? Thanks for joining the show and sending in your question with the hashtag Dolphins. What exactly do you think was going on last week when we got down 14-0? How can we prevent that against the Eagles? Well, twofold. I think you got to give the Panthers some credit. I mean, they came out ready to play. Defensively, I saw some things from the Panthers that suggested they did their homework as far as scouting and being ready for the pre-snap motion. And twofold, the Dolphins didn't exactly execute. You know, they had that one third down and short. Tua did the fake QB sneak, then tried to throw it to Mostert. It was in front of him. Just a lot of little things. And football's a tough game. There's going to be drives where you're not all on the same page. There's going to be times where it's not all clicking. Maybe they were nonchalant in their preparation, second consecutive game against a much inferior opponent. That was the second consecutive game they were favored by more than 2 touchdowns, which is just crazy in the NFL. They were back at home, and I'm not making excuses. I don't want that to come across as excuses for the Dolphins, but more perhaps, speculation of why the slow start came. But one thing's for sure, I think when Mike McDaniel and the rest of that Dolphins team takes a look at the tape on both the offense and the defense, they can identify why they started slow and ensure that doesn't happen again against the Eagles. Because there is no doubt about it. If they start that slow against the Eagles, it will most likely be too large of a hole to climb out of it. This one from Hanky Fins. Dolphins, do you think the Dolphins could trade for Chase Young? Now, we did not identify Chase Young in our most recent trade conversation talk for a couple of reasons. We hit on it 2 weeks ago, so if you want to go back, you can check out that video on the Dolphins Today page. Chase Young is on the thumbnail and everything. But the more I look at the Chase Young situation, it seems like more information has come out as of late. There was an article in The Athletic that provided all of the different odds for Chase Young's next team. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, the Dolphins were buried in that list. It's not really a realistic target for Chase Young. Take a look at these next team odds. You've got the Bears and the Lions as the two teams most likely to try to make a blockbuster deal for Chase Young. San Francisco right there, the Eagles right there at 6-1 odds, and the Ravens at 8-1 odds. So even 8-1 odds is kind of unheard of to make that happen, or just not really likely And then you get into even more teams ahead of the Dolphins. Again, these odds are on Chase Young's next team. The Patriots, Steelers, Seahawks, and Jaguars Jaguars and Dolphins with the same 20-1 odds, but you get the idea. Is there are a lot of teams lining up at the door for Chase Young, and I think the Dolphins are somewhat in a position to be at the bottom. Now, stranger things have happened. Of course, Chase Young is a phenomenal player. Just look at those stats, especially in that rookie year in 2020 with 13 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, but his production has taken a hit, and obviously in 2020, only 3 games played. He did not play tremendously well, but he's back at it this year in 2023. So I think he'll help someone. I just don't think it will be the Miami Dolphins. But let me ask you, let's say you put on your GM hat. You're the general manager for the day. Would you trade for Chase Young? Type T if you want to go ahead and make that trade, or P if you want to go ahead and pass on that trade. Let me know in the comments. This one's from Batman. How about that? Batman seems to ask a question every week. Will Tua win the MVP? I love looking at MVP odds, and I know it's probably not even in the top 10 ways to evaluate how a team's doing because it's an individual award. But in Mike McDaniel's offense, with Mike McDaniel at the helm, the quarterback is in position to be prolific and to put up gaudy numbers like Tua is. And because of that, I'm not taking anything away from Tua. I think he has been playing at an MVP level. And the odds reflect that. Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions, and Tua Tagovailoa are your top 3 favorites to win the MVP. Josh Allen also climbing up that board because he just puts up ridiculous numbers as well. So because I love Tua, I love the Dolphins. I love the direction that they're heading. I think the schedule is actually pretty easy outside of the most recent games coming up. I know there's a few buried in the schedule. The Cowboys are on the schedule somewhere. And, of course, you got the Eagles and Chiefs in 2 out of the next 3 games. So, yes, there's some tough games, but there's also some games where I could see Tua going off. And because of that, I'll say, yeah, Tua's going to win the MVP. Tua for MVP. Tua for MVP. That's what I'm talking about. Thanks for the question, Batman. I do appreciate it. Now, some exciting news because Manscaped is sponsoring today's episode, and I love Manscaped. So listen up, everybody. I've got an announcement for you. It's an urgent message, if you will, because this episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the brand that took your balls to space. They are now launching them into the Ultra Sphere. Introducing the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, featuring a new cutting-edge design and next-generation dual skin-safe blade heads for different shaves. It's pretty much a spaceship to take your boys downstairs to the next level. So join the 9 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with the brand new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code. Here it is. You ready? Promo code Dolphins. High tech for low prices. That's Manscaped. And it's the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra with the promo code Dolphins. You know, we always make it easy on you. We put that link in the description and the comment of today's video. But it's wild. You listen, everybody does it. You got to take care of down there. And the best way to do it is with the Manscaped Lawnmower Ultra 5.0. I'm excited to use it because, listen, it's important to take care of it down there, and it's even better to save some money while doing so. That's why we've got 20% off at manscaped.com with the code Dolphins. All right, more questions to get into. This one from Todd Watson. Hello, Todd. Todd. That's our guy. Dolphins, please answer the latest on Channing Tindall. Now, Channing Tindall, yes, he was, I believe, a 3rd-round draft pick of the Dolphins and hasn't really played a lot. So he played a little bit versus the Broncos in that blowout towards the very end, and there just really hasn't been a lot of news or information around him being an impactful player for the Dolphins, and I don't think he's necessarily a guy that has found favor with Vic Fangio and that defensive staff. And so, unfortunately, I really don't think he's a guy that you're going to see play other than in some garbage time like he did against the Broncos. So, don't really have a lot on Tyndall, but it is what it is. That happens in the National Football League. I mean, you watch Hard Knocks every week. Every year. There's guys that just don't make it. I'm not saying Tyndall's that guy, but he hasn't been that guy to this point in his career yet. Next question: when will Claypool play? Soon, I hope. I hope on Sunday Night Football. That would be awesome to see him on prime time on a national stage in front of a national audience. Get some playing time for the Aqua and Orange. And, like Mike McDaniel said, a 6'4" speed demon wide receiver is somebody that he can find a place for. No problem. So he didn't play last weekend against the Panthers. He was a healthy scratch. And, it takes some time to get acclimated, learn the offense. So I'm not saying 2 weeks is enough time. I'm not saying it's not enough time. There's potential we could see him on Sunday against the Eagles. If you're asking me, if you're asking Jake Riepma, I say Sunday. But I think in the coming days, we'll continue to get reports out of Miami on how well he's progressing in terms of grasping the offense. So I hope it's Sunday, but I'll say it'll be in the near future. And just like Jalen Ramsey, let's say before the bye week, because you made the trade for Chase Claypool, you want to see him in the lineup. I believe it's going to be sooner rather than later. Cindy Jacobs, my friend, your friend, how are you? Thanks for asking us a question on Dolphins today. What do the Dolphins need to do to beat the Eagles on Sunday Night Football? Well, I gave you my keys to victory on our preview, so you can check that out on our page on YouTube. But it's real simple. They got to continue to be elite on offense because make no mistake about it, this offense is generationally good. And I should look up in the encyclopedia or the thesaurus, I guess would be a better resource for different ways to say how special this offense is. Electric, problematic for the opposition, potent, high octane, elite, all different ways to describe this offense, and it's the strength of the team. So I know the cliche saying is defense wins championships. I'm not begrudging that. I'm not discounting that. But when your offense is as good as the Dolphins is, you got to continue to utilize that as the strength of the team. So I don't care how good the defense is, the opposition, I'm betting on the Dolphins offense every time. So continue to be elite on offense. Make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable. He's coming off his worst game of the season, maybe his worst game as a pro. So if the Dolphins can continue to make the opposition and the opposing quarterback uncomfortable like they have all season, they have some of the top pass rushing stats, including being second in the NFL in total sacks, I believe Jalen Hurts is going to have a tough day. The secondary. We've been talking about the secondary a lot because Jalen Ramsey is practicing. He's not going to be ready to go against the Philadelphia Eagles, but Xavier Howard nursing a groin injury. And the secondary has been a weakness, especially in that loss to Buffalo. So this is a prove-it game for the secondary. Can they play their best game? It's important in terms of the keys to victory for them to be at their very best. And that offensive line, it gets buried, which is not fair. And if you watch some of our old videos, I'm doing my best to praise the offensive line because they deserve it. They've been exceptional. So if they can keep it up, I believe that will help the Dolphins be successful on Sunday Night Football against the Eagles. So do it now. You know how it works. Predict the score. Everybody out there, I need your score prediction in the comments. I'm still working on mine. You think we should give it? Should I give it? Let's do it. Yeah. I had 34-31. I think the Dolphins get it done. 34-31 and pull out the road victory and send the fans home angry, and those Philly fans and our guy here at Chat Sports, Chase Sr., they go home, and Chipper and all the other Eagles fans, they go home sad with their second straight loss. So we'll see. Or they might say, hey, Riepma, eat, you know what. So we'll see. All right, a couple more questions to get into. When will we see Jalen Ramsey make his return? That's from Howard Huey. We've been talking about it all day, and it's such a fun thing to talk about. I will beat the dead horse on this one. I will reiterate again, Jalen Ramsey practiced today. He is way ahead of schedule. He is trending in the direction of being able to play before, let me say it again, before the Dolphins bye week. So that means either against the Patriots or against the Chiefs. If he keeps this up, we will see him before the bye week. Remember, that Chiefs game is in Germany. Couple more questions. Batman, again. Oh, thank you, Batman, for the question. We appreciate it. Great teams usually get nicknames. What will this team be called? Legion of Zoom? That is a good one. I've heard that one because Legion of Zoom, obviously there was the Legion of Boom, but they are so fast when you talk about, obviously, Tyreek Hill, Devon Achane, Raheem Mostert. They are the track stars. I feel like whatever network they're playing on, whether it be CBS or Fox, and it'll be NBC on Sunday Night Football, they always have some kind of stat graphic of how fast these players are. So maybe that's why. And because the identity of this team is the offense, I think the nickname will be something centered around the offense. And they had the greatest show on turf, that Rams team in 99 and 2000. Maybe it's the greatest show on earth. And although maybe we could tie in something with the Dolphins too. Something with the greatest show I don't know. We'll work on that. That's a good one though. Why isn't Cam Smith playing more? Fins fan 2003. I have the exact same question. We could change Fins fan to Jake Riepma on this question. I gotta know too. And you know what? All the beat writers want to know. I feel like I read a tweet every day from the beat writers urging Vic Fangio to give this kid a shot. He's the second-round pick out of South Carolina, had great numbers at the Combine. We saw him on Sunday against the Panthers in garbage time, and he was flying around. He looked fast. He made a tackle. I would love to see what he's got, but maybe Vic Fangio and the defensive staff feel he's just not quite ready. That's the only explanation I have, but let me know what you think. Does Cam Smith see more time this coming game on Sunday Night Football? It's real simple. Type Y for yes or N for no. I sure hope he does. All right, Anthony Manzano. This is the last one. Dolphins, do you think we make another big-time trade for a linebacker or maybe a defensive back? And who? Now, we had our trade talk segment. If you missed that one, definitely go back and check it out because there are some names out there. Brian Burns comes to mind for the Carolina Panthers. Pat Surtain for the Denver Broncos. But I don't know. This is a gut thing, and take it for what you will. I just don't see the Dolphins making another blockbuster trade like they have. I was already surprised to see when they traded for Chase Claypool, but it's still early. There's still time before the deadline. I'm just not quite certain if now is the time. But at the same time, you're 5-1. We'll see what happens Sunday. Maybe it is the time to go all in. But I love the team that they have now. I really do. So I don't know how much future capital you want to give up in exchange for one more piece. But if the right deal's there, maybe Chris Grier will make it. So let me know. Sunday Night Football, Dolphins versus Eagles. Predict the score in the comments and let me know. As always, appreciate you watching Dolphins Today.